Hi everyone, I'm reading Black Blade by Alexander Charalambides, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Deaf and Mute, Lance. Everyone needs water. It's something Dad says a lot. I know he means hydration, like your ability to do whatever goes up by something percent as long as you get some amount of water. I forget every day. It always made me think of the places in the world where there just isn't any clean water, where drinking it will make you sick. Actually, that's not true. That's what I used to think when I was younger and dumber. Now I know what it really is. One of those truisms you use to convince people you're sane before you start arguing for racial purity or something. So yeah, the water fountain's broken. It's stupid because there's no good reason to be here anyway. It's not like I really needed a drink. I just don't like class. Somehow, claiming to need a drink as an excuse to leave and then not getting a drink feels like an extra layer of wrong. I had a feeling you'd be here. That's Megan. She's my henchman. I shrug at her. Nowhere else to be. Relax, by the way. I say henchman, but it's a gender-neutral term. I'm not sexist. And you skipped class, she says, it like she knows. You must have been looking for me. She must have been looking for me. So you probably missed this. There's a flyer in her hand, the sort of happy, colorful rag that can only be designed by the truly dead inside. I take a second to scan the eye-searing rainbow. Special announcement? After lunch, I thought you might wonder where everybody went. Any clue what it's about? Nope. She crumbles the colorful paper in a ball, like I taught her. You cutting class, too? Uh-huh. She's trying to look cool as she leans back against the wall. I can tell because she's copying me, like always. What she actually looks like is a squirrel that's just escaped from the microwave. No change there. It's not that far. I mean, our college is not that big, but with the wind and the clear sky, it seems further than usual. The theater's crowded, noisy, and decorated, so I spend the time it takes to find a good place to stand, imagining I have an extra Megan with an enormous gun to part the crowd for me. What do you think it'll be? She asked. We sit and watch as faculty members rush around, messing with the projector and whispering to each other. Don't know. Something's got them excited. The acoustics here are nuts. It's an old building. They're always trying to persuade us it's historic. If there weren't so many students, I'd probably be able to make out what they're saying, but it looks like everyone is packed in here. This is supposed to be a prestigious private college. It always surprises me how many students there actually are, not that most of them matter. Is everyone settled? The Vice Dean's voice is harsh and tinny. Nothing to do with the microphone. There's still some pointless shuffling and muttering to do, but our dean seems ready to start. I have some very exciting news for both faculty and students. Recently, she sweeps her hand over to the projector screen. It's a castle, and I can't help it. I'm interested. The flags are frozen in the wind, the stone made out of etched light, but I can feel the age. Our college has received an extremely generous donation from a benefactor who currently wishes to remain anonymous. She points, and our old math professor changes slides. With this money, we'll be able to renovate almost every single one of our facilities, as well as afford a new computer lab and a new iTuno. She goes on and on about the new things we'll be able to buy and how fantastic it'll be for them, not for us. Of course, the Vice Dean chimes in. Some of you may be wondering about our first slide. He clicks back through model rooms and futuristic-looking computers until the castle is hanging over us again. Our benefactor had one condition, and since our interests and opinions on history and education seemed to align, we were delighted to accept. At my side, Megan's staring at her feet. There's bustle at the edge of the sea of seated students. I crane my neck and see piles of papers being handed down through the rows. They'll get to me soon enough. These are the details. The pile lands in my hands, so I take one and pass it on. Our donor is a scholar of history, and they've asked us to encourage all students to take an interest in that subject. To this end, at the beginning of next week, the entire college will be taking an international field trip to England. They must figure it'll be a hard sell because the dean shoos us out before any of the other professors can launch into a lecture. And here I thought that was what they got out of the job. Who's paying for this? Megan has to raise her voice over the river of students. I don't think there's ever been such a big meeting before. It's probably against fire regulations or something. Won't your scholarship cover it? You can always ask your parents. One, she holds up her finger. I've only got one, remember? Right. You know, most people would say sorry. She'll probably sulk now. She's always bringing it up. One way or another. How long does it take to get over something like that? Why? It's not like your dad's dead or anything. Oh no, he's fine. He just doesn't call or send money or ever want anything to do with me. She can be a little strange sometimes. I think she's probably nervous that she won't get to go with me. Maybe I'll offer to stay behind if she can't afford to go. We can swap if you like. What? The paper's almost a crumpled ball in her hands. Our parents. She doesn't always understand my jokes. Oh, right. You're supposed to laugh. I jab her in the shoulder with my elbow. I'd aim for her ribs, but she's way too short. But seriously, she tries to flatten the form against her chest. I don't think there's any way I can afford this. What about your job? She looks up from her flattening. I don't see why the scholarship wouldn't cover it. If this trip is a requirement, it has to. I'm late for work. You're a bad influence. You know that, Lance? Uh-huh. She runs down the cracked asphalt towards her trembling old car. Wait, she calls. What about you? I'll work something out. I guess you're wondering why I've been telling you all this. I know I would if I were you, but the truth is, I can't help it. The clear sky makes it look like you're staring at me. I get chatty when I'm nervous. I thought I'd visit my parents before we leave. The house is quiet. Mom and Dad are asleep. I've drawn the curtains in my room, but I can still hear the murmur of rain on the roof and the crying insects in the yard. Sometimes I hear a car sigh past on the dark road outside. Okay, so it's not that quiet, but it's creepy. I'd forgotten about the eyes. Portraits, tapestries, and sculptures staring down at me like they were watching. Honestly, they've always creeped me out. That's why I don't go in the study. Mom seemed pretty excited, or jealous. One of the two. I know she's always wanted to go. She likes to sew family trees and knit little bows around the branches when people come across to the U.S. I don't think I have any relatives in England, but from what Mom says, our family, on her side at least, used to be a big deal. Not that they were enough of a big deal for us to be rich or famous or anything. Mom's into stuff like that, things that seem nice, but are mostly just useless. I can't sleep, can you tell? I think it's because I can't decide if I'm excited or not. Maybe I did sleep. I keep going in and out. Bad dreams too. Tide coming in, drowning. The weather's awful. I know what you're thinking, but we're not even there yet. Could the UK's rain be any worse? And what is it with the bus? We haven't been here for that long, and it's hardly a severe weather warning out there. But no matter what, I can't feel insulated in this thing. Maybe it's the way it rumbles and rattles like it's about to fall apart at any second. Damn, that's some intense brooding. Megan jabs me in the ribs. What are you staring at out there? Your dead parents? Good question. I turn my head, heavy as it is from almost sleep. Nothing particularly interesting about professors arguing in the rain anyway. They don't even have the decency to be so angry that it's funny. A freak, I guess. It's true. She'll get smiley and fidgety over anything, but this is getting stupid. I'm not allowed to be excited? Being excited is fine. I take a quick look around the students in the other seats. It's just that I think this whole thing's put a lot of people on edge. It feels strange. These trips are usually planned well in advance. The faculty is practically kidnapping us. On edge? She pulls out one of her earbuds. I don't think I've ever seen her take out both. Nobody cares. Not some crazy generous old dude has just given us the chance to experience another culture. I'm guessing your answer on the caring front would be not really? Most of them look like they wish they'd stayed on campus. At the head of the bus, I hear the door squeak open. Not really looking forward to stomping in single file through the rain or all the waiting around that's essential to the whole airport experience. What about you? I watch Professor Humphreys, an ancient vulture-looking guy, pass down the aisles, taking inventory. I think Megan said something. Huh? I was asking if you'd rather have stayed behind. She looks annoyed. Sometimes I wonder if part of her problem is just being a girl. She must have had all sorts of chemicals and hormones interrupting her thought processes. I know that's what Dad says when Mom gets upset with him. I don't really mind. It might be interesting. Liar, she pokes me in the shoulder. I saw you staring at the castle on the slide. I think castles are interesting. She clearly wants more out of me. Too bad all I have besides that is a shrug. I've seen that poster on the inside of your locker, you know. She means the knight. I must have totally forgotten about it. How many years has that been there? I think Mom gave it to me. I don't know. I haven't thought about it in ages. Although, now that I do, it might have been in my dream. There was someone else there, too. I still can't remember. I think knights are cool. That's all. I turn away to continue examining the professors. Probably some mistake with the tickets. Maybe the mystery man's check bounced? So it's got nothing to do with chivalry, right? Because you're always grumbling about that. Why do you care? I'm not interrogating you. All right. She holds up her hands in surrender. At least she knows when to quit. Some of the really bored students look back at us. For some reason, we always seem to end up in the back of the bus. Besides, I don't need a reason. This will be my first time outside the U.S. Who wouldn't be excited about that? Vulture calls from the front of the bus, and some of us start to rise and shuffle off. I guess they worked something out. Wait, I stop halfway to my feet. Weren't you born somewhere else, like an island? The Philippines, she shrugs as we shuffle into line. I don't really remember. I was like 5 when Dad left, and then we moved, so it doesn't count. Whatever. Professor Humphreys barks out orders, and I realize I'm going to have to deal with something even worse than the bus, an airport. Hopefully at least some of these places won't turn out to be a waste of time. I guess you can probably already tell from there. Don't spoil it for me. What's the difference between an aeroplane and an airplane? I checked on my phone. Both are valid spellings. Are they legit different things, or are they just 2 different spellings of the same word? I'm waiting for the plane to take off. Can you tell? Maybe plane is the best way to go. Nobody can argue with plane. Megan's seated a couple of rows down. I guess you can probably tell that too. What with these windows. At least I can hear myself think now. She didn't take me seriously on the bus, but maybe she was right. The students aren't on edge. Looking around, it seems like most of them are just glad to be out of class. Can't say I blame them. What's that called? Projecting? I think so. And I think that's what I was doing. Maybe if everyone been quieter, I'd have realized that's the truth sooner. This whole situation is not normal. How not normal? I guess we'll find out. The plane jumps and shifts. We've started to move. I didn't sleep last night at all. Hopefully the noise will make it easier. I'm not sure why, but every time I put my head down on my chest, it starts to clench, like I've got a test tomorrow or something. I'm not scared, and I'm not talking about flying either. My dad's always flying out to some conference or other, and sometimes me and Mom go with him and fly back. There's a rumble, and for a moment, it feels like my stomach's caught on a fish hook. It's not that. In fact, I'm not scared at all. The ground outside my window starts to disappear, and somehow, the further in the air I fly, the more I feel like I'm waking up. Like my mind's clearing after a long sleep. Maybe this is the opposite of a dream. I'm not scared of what's out there. If it's strange or dangerous, or just different, I want it. No, I don't just want it. I'm going to get it, no matter what. How long till we land? I was wrong about the weather. It's worse. At first, I thought I'd be all right with the humidity. I used to live in Florida, but that really didn't prepare me for the cold. Sure, it's November, and I've been colder places. It's just that with all the rain, puddles, and fog, it gets in everywhere. I didn't sleep on the plane. Maybe things will get better now that I'm here, but my surroundings strongly suggest otherwise. I'm in a youth hostel. The bunk beds are stupid and it stinks of damp, and I am, for now, deprived of my henchmen. Luckily for me, my fellow students are at least smart enough to leave me alone. Also, I'm really not looking forward to trying the food. It doesn't have a great reputation. Okay, y'all, listen up. Yes, Professor Lutz is from the South. He taps the clipboard with his forefinger. What we have here is an itinerary. Who can tell me what that is? Right, I remember this guy. He used to be a kindergarten teacher, can you tell? Some of the dude bros at the corner speak up. I guess this must be the test of a lifetime to them. Right, our to-do list. Lucky for you, it looks like we've got a busy week ahead of us. Some more students, mostly the jet-laggers, surfers, turn over on their bunks. We got 1 hour until we've got to go, and the plan's to be back here by 6. There's a chorus of groans, pretty typical. So, he opens the door. I get that y'all are still pretty tired, but trust me, it ain't a good idea to start on an empty stomach. Thanks.